I had an old printer. It was given me my father. It was like my dad used to buy those e-machines. I think, or bought one like an e-machine from what was it like? Best Buy's like e-machine or something from like 2005, and they gave like a free Lexmark $40 printer. And I've used that printer for the past like 9 years, and it did a good serviceable job. It was actually pretty quick for black and white, at least. It was fine. That's how I print my postage with, like, stamps.com, because not just, this isn't an advertisement for stamps.com, but it's not just you save money, you save whatever it is, like 15% on postage. It's the time. You don't have to stay in line while the freaking employees take their sweet-ass time clicking as slowly as they can. And I've been at the post office 2 hours before shipping out DVDs. This, I can probably do it myself in like a half hour and just drop it off,
nice.
And save money. But the Lexmark had to go because it was not good printing labels. And this is the first year I've done labels before, this time I'm actually printing the postage on the labels and getting it all done at once. So there was a printer, an HP printer, Photosmart 8250. I'd bought brand new at a yard sale with my ex. That was like 3 years ago, and at the time it was like a $250 printer. So I was like, oh, I got it for like probably $40. I'm like, oh, this is great. I'll either sell it in the future if I don't use it, or I'll hold it and use it. So I decided I'm going to use this. This is like a full printer, and I really liked it because it has a separate black cartridge versus 5 different colors. So it'll last, in theory, a lot longer, and it'll be print. Because when it's an all-in-one, like the Lexmark printer I had, it starts at black,
your cartridge
it goes to blue, then the green, and then to this ugly red, and you got to throw it out. So this was a lot better. So I go to use this. It's brand new, the cartridge in there. Plug it in. Does the first startup diagnostics, asks the language you're speaking while you're printing, everything else. And then it gets this error code. A printer error code saying there's an ink system error with the code, like a long list. So this is strange. I'll go online and see what this is. So it turns out that a lot of people have this problem with an ink system error, usually when switching out cartridges. So what HP does, which I don't think all companies do this, they code into their ink cartridges an expiration date that the printer will read. And if the printer reads it being out of date, you can't print on the printer. So I discovered this, but there's a lot of workarounds you can do for this. There's a way to boot up the machine holding 2 buttons to sort of reset it and trick the system. Tried that. It displays like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 code, and you put it back in. It's the same error. Got a little studious, looked more, and then there's this method where you literally take the printer apart. It's a little difficult, to me, like 20 minutes, but you can do it without damaging it. Get at the lithium battery, because it has an internal battery, I guess, to store this information about what printer cartridge is in there. Take it out, or put it back in, or I took it out entirely, screw it, and then try it again, turn it back on, same error. I'm like, okay. Okay, so it has to be that the printer. I'll just order new printer cartridges. I'll just order them. It doesn't matter what it'll cost. I'll just order them because the printer only costs me $40. I'll just order new printer cartridges. So
you're still coming out ahead.
I'm still gonna come out ahead. So I go online. I order more printer cartridges, and they arrive. I'm like, oh, great, this is fantastic. This is okay. Wasted like 3 days. It came from California. New printer cartridges. Put them in. Get another error message. The error message says you must use the ink that came with your printer. All right, so I tweet. Now I'm a little upset because I've wasted like 4 days, and thankfully I borrowed Frank's printer, which of course I bought for him. But if it wasn't for that, I would have been screwed.
Right.
In the meantime, but I wanted to use his printer because this would have been like very quick. In theory, this is a great printer. This is almost like a business level printer. It probably does like 30 pages a minute. So I decide then. Maybe not 30, 20 pages. So then I tweet at HP. I'm a little upset, saying I'm about to go office space on this. They tweet back at me with support saying, okay, what's your problem? I tell them the problem, blah, blah. They tweet back saying, oh, okay, it sounds like a typical issue. We'll just, this is what you do. Here's the phone number. We went back and forth. They probably saw me. I was an NES guy. They asked what was my favorite NES game. I tweeted back Danny Sullivan's in the Heat, of course.
I saw.
So it was a little bit back and forth. It was like gallows humor because I was really upset still at the time. So they gave me a number to call. So I called the number. And then I'll leave a message. Rabia, I really respected the fact that it's not like I skipped over the fact that I first called customer service.
Right.
First called customer service. the first time. When I first called customer service, his name was John. It wasn't really John, but his name was John. And then I told him what was wrong, and he basically said my printer was worthless. He basically said that, I basically said, should I just throw this in the dumpster, this printer, due to this error message? And he basically said, yes, you should. We no longer support. He basically said we just no longer support. Shit. We no longer support the printer. We just don't support it.
Right.
So, but hey, you can buy another printer.
Hey, thanks.
From HP. Okay. Then I went back on the Twitter again. Said, okay, one of the guys I guess was following me from HP support. And okay, this is a problem. They escalated. Great, escalated. I'm gonna get my own case manager. That's who called me, Rabia. Very nice, very sweet woman. Called her back the next day. All right, let's fix this. Let's get down. Let's fix this printer issue. Brand new printer, can't use it. Tell her what happened. I tell her original ink was out of date, so replaced it. Then the ink said you cannot use this ink. You have to use original ink because I guess
because I was following it. It was something like a primer cartridge.
They claim that you have to prime the head of the cartridge by doing that. I don't know if that's true. I've never heard of this before.
No,
I think it's utter bullshit personally, but whatever. I think it's a way for them to control what's on the machine.
Sure.
So no one else can get the machine and sell it with other ink, whatever. So anyway, so Rabia, we go through the options. It's almost like it's not clicking in your head what's going on. To me, I already know this is a catch-22 about to happen. I basically say, Rabia, the only way out of this for me is you have to send me introductory printer cartridges that are not expired. That's the only way out of this. Can you do this? No. That's what she said. So she said, okay, she said this printer was sold from 2005 to 2010. We stopped supporting it like 3-4 years ago, but I'll talk to someone. Hold on 2 minutes. 2 minutes later, we don't have any of those cartridges. In my head, I'm like, you don't have any. You cannot have any.
Not in the entire HP.
But then I'm thinking anyway, it doesn't matter because those intro cartridges aren't available. They're not using any other HP printer anymore, so they would have been expired anyway.
Yes.
So I'm like, Rabia, what are my options besides literally just tossing this out my window? Well, she said, you could try calling up a local electronics store or printer service to see if they have ink cartridges. Rabia, if I got new introductory cartridges, they would probably be expired still. She said, yeah, probably. Absolutely worthless machine I have sitting here. It's absolutely worthless because of this fucked up thing they did with expiration dates on printer cartridges. And I looked it up. They said, well, to maintain the highest quality and to make sure you don't, gunk up your printer head. I bought the machine. Now, I may have bought it used, but someone originally bought it new. And if they wanted to use it, they would not have been able to. Thank God I never put this on eBay, not knowing this bullshit. Because I would have got a really upset person, rightfully so, saying, I cannot use my new printer. And they would have gone through the same week and a half process as me, finding out that there's DRM on printers.
I was just going to say, it's fucked up. You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, there's DRM on printers. There is planned obsolescence built into printers now.
Yes. At least for HP.
Because even if you bought that printer when it came out and it was new, you would reach a point in time where you would have the problem you had with expired ink.
If they bought that printer, I think the cartridges expired in 2011. So this was still available on the market new in 2010. Say they bought it, waited 7 months, try to hook it up, no good. They were screwed. Yep. Maybe HP then would have intro carts I could have sent, but it's still bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. So I basically end up spending money on cartridges that are worthless. I got to try to return them on eBay or just hold on to them. That's HP.
Just stick a straw in it and drink it like a juice box.
I took it apart like an engineer to try to get the thing working too. I was like, this is cool. I'm gonna put it back together, and it's like, God damn it! And even HP after that, the support, it's like. They even said it's time to go Office Space, and they're like, "Yeah, you might as well." They even realize that it's fucked,
right? I mean, it's cute that they tried to have good humor about it. At least the tech guys, because it's not their problem. It's not their fault.
No, it's not. It's not
their fault.
And I even told Rabia, I said, "It's not your fault. Your company has shitty practices with expiration of ink, which is absolutely ridiculous. I haven't heard of Brother or Epson or Lexmark doing something like that.
No,
never."